Before we move forward, please like, share, and subscribe Strategic Vanguard and be up to date with the latest news and happenings from the world of defense, strategic, and international affairs. Tune into our video channels in YouTube and Rumble. And if you want to hear the audio version, tune into our Strategic Vanguard channels in Spotify and Amazon Music.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're plunging into, well, a really different kind of conflict. Our sources are calling them silent wars. Forget the usual images, tanks, missiles. These battlefields are invisible, fought in code, algorithms, even the airwaves. We've got some really eye-opening source material here. And our mission today is to unpack how global power is being, completely reshaped across these new covert fronts.
Yeah, and what's striking, I think, is just how much the definition of war itself has stretched. Mm-hmm. These aren't small things.
Yeah.
They can genuinely paralyze a nation, wreck an economy, destroy trust, and all without, a single bomb dropping in the traditional sense.
Exactly. And to make this real, let's think back. Remember Stuxnet? Back in 2010, it was a computer worm. Not a physical weapon, but it quietly took out Iran's nuclear centrifuges.
Mm-hmm. No soldiers, just lines of code. But the strategic impact, our sources say it was huge, like an airstrike.
And that was over a decade ago. Things have only gotten more sophisticated, right?
Absolutely. Which forces a really critical question. If the old battlefields don't matter as much, how do countries actually protect themselves? How do they project power now? So we'll dig into how these silent wars play out across four main areas, and then we'll try to connect it all to what this means for rising powers like India, for instance.
Okay, sounds like a plan. So, first stop, the shadowy world of cyber warfare. Then we'll look at economic tools as weapons. After that, the battle for hearts and minds, information wars.
And finally, the new frontiers, space and AI.
Right. And wrapping it up by asking, where do countries like India actually stand in all this?
Right.
Okay, first dimension, cyber warfare. Our sources call this the sharpest spear. Just imagine, armies don't need to cross a border. They can just plant code, malicious code, right into a country's essential systems.
Banks, hospitals, power grids.
Air traffic control, yeah. The things that keep everything running.
And what's really clear from the research is how deeply this stuff is now integrated into, just everyday statecraft. You've got major players, U.S. Cyber Command, Russia's fancy bear groups, China's state hackers, North Korean teams. They're all in this constant state of contact warfare.
Constant contact warfare, so always probing.
Yeah, probing weaknesses, planting things, sometimes actually crippling infrastructure, using zero-day exploits, hitting supply chains. It's sophisticated.
And this isn't just theory. Our sources point to things like the Mumbai power blackout in 2020.
Mm-hmm. Officially, it was blamed on technical faults.
Right, but there were so many reports suggesting, a Chinese cyber intrusion might have been involved.
Definitely. It reads like a serious warning shot.
And then you look at Ukraine in 2022. That seemed like a full-scale preview, didn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Before the tanks even moved, cyber attacks were hitting Ukrainian banks, their military communications, government sites.
Trying to cause panic, chaos.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So panic, disrupt command and control, make the physical invasion easier.
Here's what gets me, though. Unlike a normal war, there are no clear front lines here.
None at all. Attackers can be anywhere. They can cover their tracks incredibly well.
So attribution, figuring out who actually did it, is incredibly hard.
By the time you have a decent idea, the damage is often done, sometimes irreversibly.
Which then raises the question, how are nations like India actually coping with this?
Well, the sources highlight some big challenges. Three main ones, really. First, infrastructure weaknesses in critical areas.
Okay.
Second, a real shortage of trained cyber defenders, the actual people needed.
Skills gap. Makes sense.
And third, a big reliance on imported tech, which, could potentially have backdoors built in.
Meanwhile, other countries like China, they're pouring money into this.
Billions. Building dedicated military units for both defense and offense. They're even experimenting with AI-driven cyber attacks.
AI-driven attacks. Wow.
Yeah, it completely collapses the difference between peacetime and wartime. A cyber attack can happen any day, look like maybe just a glitch, but cause devastation like a war.
ATMs stop working. Flights grounded. Hospitals can't access patient records.
Society just grinds to a halt. No bombs, but the effect is potentially catastrophic.
So the bottom line for national security is cybersecurity isn't just for the IT department anymore.
Not at all. It's a core national security issue. Needs investment in defenses, developing your own tech, and frankly, having credible offensive capabilities too for deterrence.
Okay, so if cyber attacks the brain, Our sources say economic warfare targets the heart of a nation. Its money, its trade, its resources.
Yeah. And weaponizing economies isn't new, of course. Think of old naval blockades. But globalization has made this weapon incredibly sharp, much more precise.
How so?
Well, think about the U.S. sanctions on Russia after the Ukraine invasion.
Right, freezing assets, cutting off SWIFT.
Exactly. Restricting market access. The goal was to directly impact Russia's ability to fund the war.
Did it work? The sources seem a bit mixed on that.
It definitely had an impact, a significant one. But Russia also proved quite adept at finding workarounds, building new trade links, shifting alliances. It becomes this long-term struggle, a constant pressure game.
And China uses a different approach, right? The whole debt trap diplomacy idea.
That's a key finding in the research, especially regarding the Belt and Road Initiative. They fund these huge infrastructure projects in developing countries. Billions in loans.
Which sounds good initially.
Right, but if those countries struggle to repay, Beijing gains enormous leverage. They might have to hand over control of strategic assets.
Like ports. Gwadar in Pakistan, Hambantota in Sri Lanka.
Precisely. Those become potential strategic footholds for China, all achieved without firing a shot. It's economic leverage converting into geopolitical influence.
And then there's controlling resources, rare earth minerals, for example.
Oh, absolutely critical. China controls, over 80% of the global supply?
And those are needed for everything. Electronics, defense tech.
Everything. So if China decides to restrict that supply, entire global industries could just stop. That's immense economic coercion potential right there.
India's felt this pressure too, hasn't it? And pushed back.
Yes. India has faced economic coercion, but has also started using its own economic weight, restricting certain Chinese apps, for instance. That wasn't just a tech issue. Our sources frame it as a strategic economic signal in response to border tensions.
What about other tactics, like messing with currencies?
Currency manipulation, yeah, that's another tool to hurt rival economies. And then there's this growing trend of de-dollarization.
Countries trying to trade less in U.S. dollars.
Exactly. Reducing dependence on the dollar turns the whole global financial system into another kind of battlefield. It's a slow burn, but potentially transformative.
And connecting this all up, semiconductors seem central now.
They're the new oil, absolutely. Taiwan producing over 60% of the world's most advanced chips.
That makes Taiwan incredibly important strategically, a silicon shield.
Completely. It makes the Taiwan Strait not just a military flashpoint, but a massive economic one. Any conflict there would send shockwaves through the global economy.
So for you, listening, the takeaway is stark. Economic security is national security now.
No question. Diversifying supply chains, cutting down import dependency, boosting domestic manufacturing, protecting key resources. These aren't just economic policies anymore, they're defense strategies.
All right, moving from the economy to, the mind itself, information warfare.
This is maybe the oldest form of warfare, right?
Sure.
Propaganda. But the digital age has amplified it terrifyingly.
How so? What's changed?
Think about the journey. WWII, you had leaflets dropped from planes. Today, you have deep fake videos going viral to millions in hours. You've got troll farms, bot armies, highly coordinated disinformation campaigns. These are now just standard tools in the statecraft toolkit, designed to confuse, divide, and manipulate.
And the sources point to some pretty unsettling examples, like the alleged Russian interference in the 2016 U.S. election.
Right. That wasn't about changing votes directly. It was about using social media to inflame divisions, spread fake news, and just erode trust in the whole system, destabilizing from the inside.
And China's approach, is it similar?
China's focused heavily on what the sources call discourse power, using their state media, online campaigns, influencers, all to shape how the world sees China.
Painting themselves favorably.
Exactly. And at the same time, actively trying to discredit rivals or narratives they don't like. It's a global battle for perception, fought constantly online.
India's been targeted too, right?
Oh, constantly.
Yeah.
Fake news during elections is rampant. Disinformation campaigns targeting the military.
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
And the real danger isn't just people believing one fake story.
No, the deeper damage is the erosion of trust. Trust in institutions, trust in the media, even trust in each other. It makes society fractured and, frankly, much more vulnerable.
Which creates a huge problem for free societies, doesn't it?
A massive dilemma. How do you protect free speech, which is fundamental, while also fighting back against deliberate, malicious manipulation?
Authoritarian states don't really have that problem.
Not in the same way, no. They control the information flow. Democracies have to walk this incredibly fine line, trying to counter the lies without becoming censors themselves.
So for you, trying to figure out what's true online, it's getting harder.
Much harder. The defense isn't simple. It requires investment in digital literacy education, better fact-checking tools and infrastructure, and countries need proactive strategies to tell their own stories effectively.
Because in this environment...
Yeah, whoever controls the narrative often really does control the outcome. It's that powerful.
Okay, let's push into the final frontiers now. Space and artificial intelligence. These feel like the next major arenas for silent conflict.
Definitely. Let's start with space. Satellites are, well, they're everything for modern military.
ECPS for missiles, communications.
Reconnaissance, intelligence gathering.
Yep.
It all relies on assets in orbit. So if you can destroy or even just jam those satellites...
You can blind the enemy.
Blind and deafen them, essentially. Render their most advanced technology useless. That's why you see this push for anti-satellite weapons, AS.
The US, China, Russia, they're all developing these?
Yes. China's shown it can hit satellites with missiles. Russia's tested systems. And India joined that exclusive club back in 2019 with Mission Shakti.
Showing they have the capability to.
Exactly. It's basically an arms race happening quietly above our heads. Raises huge questions about space debris too, by the way.
But maybe even more transformative than space is AI. Artificial intelligence.
AI is the real potential game changer, I think. Imagine autonomous drone swarms that can just overwhelm defenses through sheer numbers and coordination.
Or AI algorithms predicting enemy movements better than any human analyst could.
Or even fully automated weapon systems that can react faster than humans.
That's where it gets, well, kind of terrifying reading these sources. The ethical questions are enormous.
Absolutely profound. What happens if an AI makes a mistake in combat? Who's responsible for an attack launched by an autonomous system?
Could AI even accidentally start a conflict? Maybe misinterpreting data and escalating things before humans can intervene?
It's a serious concern. These are dilemmas the world is, frankly, nowhere near ready to answer. There's no global agreement, no real framework.
So where does this leave rising powers, like India, which we mentioned earlier?
Well, the sources suggest the challenge for a country like India isn't just keeping up. It's about finding ways to leapfrog.
Not just copy, but innovate.
Precisely. They need to build their own strong tech ecosystems in cyber, secure their supply chains, and build economic resilience. Project their own narrative effectively in the information space.
And in space and AI.
Innovate. Don't just imitate. India has huge advantages. Its human capital, its democratic values, its strategic location. The key is aligning those strengths with technological development and a focus on resilience. That's how you shape the future, not just react to it. Pulling all this together, one thing really stands out from the sources. These silent wars, they're not some future scenario. They are happening right now. Every single day, shaping our world in ways most of us probably don't even notice.
Yeah, the wars of tomorrow. They might not start with a big declaration.
And they might not end with a peace treaty signing either. It's a continuous, simmering conflict.
So for you listening, what does this all mean? It means these conflicts are everywhere. Cyberspace, boardrooms, your news feed, even outer space.
Constantly fought.
Yeah.
Silently.
Yeah.
And the sources are pretty clear. The potential cumulative damage can be, well, immense, maybe even more disruptive than traditional wars in some ways.
But there's an upside too, right?
Yes, there's opportunity. By actually seeing these battles for what they are, by preparing for them clearly and confidently, nations can do more than just protect themselves. They can actually secure their place as leaders in this really complex, multipolar 21st century.
So the question isn't if these silent wars will be fought.
No, they're already here.
The real question for all of us, for any nation, is, are we going to be a silent victim, or can we figure out how to be a silent victor? Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We really hope this has given you a new lens to view the conflicts shaping our world today.